For more on how all of this is actually going, let's now talk to Charles Kupchan, who's the Senior Fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations and former Special Assistant to the President and Senior Director for European Affairs on the staff at the National Security Council in the Barack Obama administration. Thank you so much for joining us. Just wanted to get your sense of what's actually happening in Ukraine, especially with that counter-offensive. Many reports coming out on whether it's been successful or not and how successful it's been. What are you being able to pick up?
Well, I think it's way too early to make any judgments about how the offensive will go. This is an offensive operation that will likely run for months, maybe years. It's very difficult to say. But it's clear that in the various locations that the Ukrainians have tried to punch through Russian defenses, they have not yet made a great deal of progress. They are running into minefields. They are running into Russian defenses that are multiple layers, trenches, tank traps, more trenches, all kinds of concrete fortifications. And one problem that an advancing army faces, and the Ukrainians are facing this, is the offensive requires them to come out from their own defensive positions. It's easier to hit them when they're out in the open, when they're massing for an armored breakthrough. And I think that's one of the reasons that we've begun to see fairly substantial Ukrainian casualties.
We're just trying to look at the possible black swan events that could come into this and make a change one way or the other. We've been hearing all that discussion about what could happen on the nuclear front with depleted uranium or, Belarus and what's happening out of there, possible escalation. We've also been hearing possibly about what's happening with the Wagner group, with Prigozhin, with his relationship with the Russian leadership. What do you think could happen to make a dramatic change one way or the other?
I haven't yet seen any sign that Putin is in trouble, that is to say, could face a real domestic threat to his regime. Public support for the war continues to run high. As far as we know, the security apparatus, the key decision makers around Putin are standing by him, in part because he successfully built a patronage system. Their livelihood, their power, their influence all stems from Vladimir Putin, and that makes it hard for them to go anywhere. So that I would say that the real black swans in my mind are China. Is China going to start arming Russia, which in my mind is a real possibility if Russia begins to lose and if Ukraine looks like it is posing a real prospect of taking back all of its territory. Escalation is also out there. There's talk the last few days about Putin moving nuclear weapons to Belarus. That hasn't been confirmed, but who knows where this war could go. We've seen dangerous moments. We've seen missiles land in Poland. We've seen Russian fighters force down a U.S. drone. We've seen drones attack the Kremlin. This is a war that has the potential for escalation.
All right, Mr. Kupchan, thank you so much for joining us with that. Thank you.